welcome to this episode of the Mainstreet Show. I'm your host, Emma Jordan. Today we're joined by Courtney McNaull. It is so great to have you here. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. My first question of the day is, what drove you into your career for journalism?
Well, I started working as a student journalist in high school, was involved in my student newspaper and really enjoyed it. First story I wrote was on a classmate who had a heart transplant, and just the opportunity to talk to her about what that was like and then relay that really emotional information to my peers and then watch people reading it and actually see that physically in print was just a really meaningful experience for me. And then kind of got hooked from there. Did some more journalism in college. I was a beat reporter and then a editor at our college newspaper. And I actually started out as a public relations communications major and then switched my major to journalism because I had a fabulous journalism professor, James Tobin, who encouraged me to pursue that. And I figured, not knowing whether I wanted to go into communications or journalism, it would be easier to go from journalism to communications than the other way around. So started out in journalism and now I've found myself in communications.
Oh, that's lovely. You've worked in journalism for the Ashland Source and the Mansfield News Journal. What have you learned from those two experiences that you continue to carry with you in your work?
Oh wow, I've learned so much. I actually started at the Ashland Times-Gazette and then went to the Mansfield News Journal and then Ashland Source. I think the most important thing that I learned from those jobs really is just empathy. Just the ability to meet people from all walks of life and sort of step into their shoes and tell a variety of different stories. I was always kind of a general assignment reporter because they were relatively small newsrooms. So even when I had a beat, I was also writing just a variety of stories. And so you meet all kinds of people and just the ability to tell those stories and the privilege of being able to tell those stories really gives you a lot of empathy for people, and that is so valuable in life and in work. And then also having been a journalist is really valuable when you go into communications work because you know how to work with the media, you know how to phrase things, you know how to craft a message in such a way that people will understand what you're talking about and that you can convey the information that people need to know to really understand your message.
Mm-hmm. I really love that answer. You've mentioned a couple of the pieces you've worked on and all of the experiences you gained from that. Do you have a favorite piece that you've written or covered so far?
I don't know if I have a favorite piece. I really have enjoyed the variety of the general assignment reporting, which is funny because I always thought that I would want to have, a real specific beat or that I would want to only write features or long form like narrative nonfiction or something. But I really just enjoyed the variety of doing something different every day and even the little silly stories. There was a guy who was like a delivery driver and he had this cute relationship with a kid on his route, and they would like wave every day, or maybe he was a trash collector. I can't recall exactly what it was, but it was just sort of this back and forth exchange between the driver and the kid over time, and I got to write about that and little things like that, and just personality profiles and things. And actually the last story I wrote at the Times-Gazette was about Dr. Lucille Ford, who actually is the founder of the Ashland County Community Foundation, who now I work for. Just being able to write about her and meet her. She was such an amazing woman. She's now deceased, but she was really a trailblazer for women in our community and also just such a visionary and such a leader. And she made an influence on me just in our couple hours of talking, and she spent a lot of time with me and connected with me on a personal level. And that was just such a meaningful interview to be able to have with her when she served as the Grand Marshal for the Bicentennial Parade in Ashland. So I loved writing that story too, and just getting to know Dr. Lucille Ford. And then of course it's meaningful now knowing that she was the founding president of our organization that I now work for.
Oh, that's lovely. Transitioning to that, you've worked with the Ashland County Community Foundation. What exactly is it that foundation does, and what is their mission?
Yeah, so we really are the community's foundation, just like we say in the title, Ashland County Community Foundation. We basically exist to improve the quality of life in Ashland County. And we do that by inspiring people to make thoughtful gifts and grant effectively. And so what that looks like day to day is we walk alongside donors, generous philanthropists in our community who want to make a difference. And we help them, along with their financial advisors, come up with plans that maximize both their tax benefits and their charitable impact. And then we're able to provide grants in the community to nonprofit organizations and other charitable causes that are doing great work in our community. We provide scholarships. This will be interesting for your students here at Ashland University to know. We have hundreds of scholarships available with just one application on our website. And that helps students in our community pursue higher education and really advances the entire community that way. We also help nonprofits with capacity building. So in addition to being able to apply for grants from our foundation, many nonprofits also have endowment funds at our foundation, which means that we invest their dollars and provide distributions to them each year from their investments, and that's a regular source of income for them so they can continue to fulfill their missions. And then we also connect them with resources in the community, just serving as kind of that community hub, community connector. And then just community engagement. We like to be part of all the conversations and all the activities of all the good things that are going on in town and helping to sort of move things forward. As we like to say, we're here for good, and that phrase has sort of a double meaning. We're here to do good things, but we're also here for the long haul because we're built on that concept of endowment, which is investing for the future. You know, we're going to be here today and tomorrow, so we want to make sure that we are moving the community forward now and in the future.
It sounds like you're doing some amazing work over there. It honestly sounds awesome.
It's so inspiring to be part of this good work every day. And you know, I joke that I only tell good news now. You know, some of the news that I was telling on a day-to-day basis as a reporter, some of it was good and some of it was lighthearted and some of it was really dark and not lighthearted. And so just to be part of something so positive and so uplifting every day is really a privilege.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like a privilege. Your position as the Community Engagement Director for the Foundation, can you give us some more insight into what exactly it is you do and how you engage with the community?
Absolutely. So a big part of what I do is kind of to oversee all of our publications and our website and our social media. So we have an annual report. We've got a copy of it on the table that we put out each year. We have a newsletter that we put out in print and online as well. I kind of oversee those things and work alongside our communications specialist, Liz Hosfeld, who does a wonderful job putting those things together. I do a lot of graphic design work, which has been fun because I don't have really training in that, but I enjoy it and get to put together all sorts of, you know, flyers, brochures, like I said, website work, you know, anything I can to kind of convey the message to folks. And then sometimes it's PowerPoint presentations or talking points or things for other people in our organization to be able to go out into the community and tell other people about what we do. And then I get to do things like this, where I go out and talk to people about what it is that we're doing and make sure that people know that we're here for them, whether they're a prospective donor, whether they're a student seeking a scholarship, whether they're a nonprofit looking for a grant. We really are here to assist.
Lovely. You talked about Dr. Ford earlier, and she sounded like an inspiration for you joining the Community Foundation. Were there any other reasons that drew you into working with them?
Yeah, I would say I noticed as a reporter in Ashland and Mansfield, and Mansfield being a close community to Ashland, so I was here in Ashland covering things a lot when I was there as well. But over 7 years of being in this community as a reporter, I noticed that there was this common thread in so many of the good news stories happening in Ashland County, and that was the Community Foundation. The Community Foundation is just involved in so much, often behind the scenes, not necessarily like out front taking the credit for everything or the only player involved, often just a partner in what's going on. But providing funding or providing that kind of matchmaking piece or the connection between the donor and the nonprofit or the student. But I just so often would find that something good was happening that I was really excited to write about, whether it was a new park or a new project happening in a school setting. I got to cover some of our teacher mini grants happening in the classroom where there were these projects that schools wouldn't have otherwise been able to fund, and our community foundation funded them, and saw these light bulbs coming on for students in the classroom, and it's happening because of the community foundation. And I realized, like, this is really making a difference, and I'm just so excited about being part of that. So when I was approached to work there, I thought this is a perfect fit.
It sounds like a perfect fit. You guys sound like you're doing a lot of uplifting for not only the community, but other organizations within Ashland.
Absolutely. Yeah, we love those partnerships, and honestly, we exist to serve them. You know, they are the boots on the ground doing all the great work. Our nonprofit agencies are wonderful in this community, and to be able to come alongside them and support that is such a privilege.
That's lovely. My final question for you today is, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to pursue journalism?
I would say just practice as much as you can. I think that I gained more, not to say that there was anything wrong with my classes. You know, I had a great experience studying journalism at Miami University, but I learned more from being involved with the student newspaper and actually doing the work and my internships than I did in the classroom. And just having sort of that quick turnaround, and especially when you start doing it on a daily basis, you just grow a lot. And so I would say the more that you can practice and find people that you admire and can learn from, that will take you far.
I think that's some amazing advice to give the students here at Ashland. Thank you so much for coming in today, Courtney. It's been awesome talking with you.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Well, that's all the time we have today, Courtney. This has been the episode of the Mainstreet Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media platforms at AUTV Ashland. I'm your host, Emma Jordan. Thanks for watching.